the Farangi spot here. I'd just like to say that the person, of course, should be reading this is Charles Allen, who's been very ill, and I'm glad to say he's likely much better. And he's a huge inspiration for me. One of the very first history books I ever read about India was his Taj and Swaraj, back on my first trip in 1984. And since then, books like Soldier Saabs and his book Charada on the Maharajas have been great classics, and it's terrific news that he's recovering. In building his hotel, Jamshedji had been guided by his vision of a meeting ground for all races and creeds. This aspiration first began to be realized in the interwar years, when the Taj became the widely acknowledged forum for the exchange of political ideas. The regular meetings of these organizations at the Taj provided a platform for some of India's most outstanding political leaders. Jawaharlal Nehru, M.A. Jinnah, Sarojini Naidu, and Subhash Chandra Bose were among the many political activists who came to speak and listen to often critical replies. At one such meeting in June 1931, a private dinner was organized amid great secrecy by the Young Europeans group, and the speaker was one M.K. Gandhi. The Mahatma slipped into the Taj clad only in a dhoti and chappals, and refusing to use the lift, walked up to the floor on the first floor where the meetings were to be held. Considering it essential that the discussions remain confidential, Gandhi obtained a pledge from all those present that not a word of their deliberations, said to have been prolonged but friendly, should be made public. Of the many great men and women of India's freedom movement who crossed the threshold of the Taj, none was more closely associated with the hotel than Sarojini Naidu, for whom it became virtually a second home for the best part of 3 decades. A suite of rooms at the Taj was kept more or less permanently at her disposal. The enormous outpourings of joy which greeted the momentous tryst with destiny in August 1947, accompanied by a very genuine surge of goodwill to the departing British, for whom it must be said that nothing became them so well as the manner of their going. I didn't write this, I have to say. The man who brought this down, the set of independence at midnight, 1450s, was India's last viceroy, Lord Louis Mountbatten. A quarter of a century earlier, he had come to Bombay as ADC for his royal cousin, the Prince of Wales, but with a Miss Edwina Ashley in ardent pursuit. She was always to have fond memories of the Taj as a place where she made a telephone call to Delhi that put her back in touch with the man who she soon afterwards became engaged to. In 1945, Lady Edwina returned to India as Superintendent-in-Chief of the St. John's Ambulance Brigade, only occasionally meeting up with her husband, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, for a few days' rest. On a couple of occasions, while in Bombay, they slipped into the Taj incognito to enjoy a plate of ham and eggs in the quiet corner of the hotel. Ham and eggs, no wonder she went off with Nehru. That night at the Taj, independence was ushered in with music, dancing, speeches, and merrymaking. The program included the bands Mickey Corea and Chic Chocolate, with crooner Molly O'Connor and Indian cabaret acts, and acts and dances by classical dancers. At midnight, the lights went off and came on again behind the stage, and there was the Indian national flag lit up with lights. Everyone was very merry, and of course, outside the Taj, the streets were completely packed with people. They were all happy and gay and shouting slogans of Jai Hind. A journalist who was also resident in the hotel in 1947 adds, "It was a magic moment. The Independence Ball saw crammed into the ballroom the city's elite. Former black tie-wearing knight commanders poured into immaculate black and white Ajkans were solemnly rehearsing to sing the national anthem. Their lovely chiffon-clad ladies were abandoning the foxtrot for the Bhangra, with the Taj band valiantly trying to keep the pace. The atmosphere was electric with excitement. The hotel, a riot of saffron, white and green, saw visitors, residents and staff joining hands to dance in the ballroom, outside in the lobby, all along the corridors and passages, and in every public room. At midnight struck, the inevitable happened. The once exclusive hotel and the people became one. From galleries and balconies and rooms, streamers and balloons, in their hundreds, crescended on the dancing, frenzied crowds, which again and again joined those inside the hotel to sing Jana Jana Mana. Nobody slept that night, and the staff miraculously provided round-the-clock service. Everyone, whether they knew each other or not, greeting each other with J.